You did everything right. You followed the steps, you checked every box they gave you, and now you're successful. But somehow, you feel more lost than ever. It's not depression. It's not laziness. It's not even burnout. It's emptiness. That quiet, creeping question. If this is what winning feels like, then why do I feel so hollow? Because maybe what you built was never built for you. You didn't chase success. You chased approval, their pride, their applause, their silence finally turning into, well done. So you shaped your dreams to fit their comfort. You picked paths that looked safe, looked impressive, looked acceptable. And somewhere along the way you stopped asking, what do I want? And started asking, what will they respect? You became everything they said you should be, and nothing you truly are. On paper, it looks perfect. The title, the income, the lifestyle, the smile you wear in public. But when the noise stops, you're left alone with the truth. You built a life that looks full but feels hollow. Because when your success is rooted in expectation, you never really arrive. You just perform. And every milestone becomes another mask you have to keep wearing to prove you're okay. But inside, you're tired. Not from the work, but from pretending it matters. What if this wasn't success? What if it was just survival in a shinier outfit? You didn't chase joy. You chased security. You didn't follow purpose. You followed permission. And every win you stacked was built on fear. Fear of being average. Fear of being judged. Fear of being unseen. But fear makes terrible fuel. It burns fast. It burns quiet. And in the end, it leaves you with nothing but smoke. Now you're standing in the ashes, wondering why it all feels so numb. The first crack in the facade isn't loud. It's a whisper that says, this life is successful, but it isn't mine. So you sit with that question, uncomfortable, electric. If no one were watching, what would I build? Not the title that impresses strangers. Not the salary that funds distractions. But the work that wakes you up at dawn because it feels like breathing, not grinding. And in that silent room, without the cheering crowd, you realize everything you chase for applause turns to dust in your own hands. Everything you chase for meaning becomes a seed, ready to grow the moment you choose it. But choosing yourself means abandoning the script. It means starting over, on ground that finally feels real. Starting over isn't failure, it's forgiveness. Forgiveness for all the times you abandoned yourself just to feel enough. Forgiveness for building a life they could clap for, but you couldn't breathe in. It's terrifying to walk away from what looks right just because it doesn't feel right. But peace doesn't come from applause. It comes from alignment. And alignment doesn't require permission. You don't need to burn it all down. You just need to stop pretending the emptiness isn't real. Because the moment you name it, you reclaim it. You don't need a map. You need honesty. The path ahead isn't paved. It's quiet, unwritten, yours. For the first time, you're not chasing. You're listening. To the pull in your chest that isn't urgent, but undeniable. To the voice that doesn't scream, but never lies. It doesn't promise fame. It doesn't guarantee praise. It only promises one thing: truth. And truth is rarely comfortable, but it's always free. You stop asking, what will impress them? And start asking, what will fulfill me? Not what looks good on a resume, not what earns you applause at dinner tables, but what makes your soul exhale. You stop performing and start choosing. Not out of rebellion, but out of remembering. Remembering that life isn't a competition. It's a conversation between you and the deepest part of yourself. And maybe for the first time, you're finally ready to listen. There's a strange peace that comes with letting go. Not the loud kind, not the dramatic exit, the quiet kind. When you simply stop showing up for a version of yourself that never fit. You no longer need to defend your choices. You just don't choose them anymore. You don't fear starting over. You fear living another year performing a role you never wrote. And when people ask, "But what about everything you've built?" you'll smile and say, "It was beautiful, but it wasn't mine." Now success looks different. It's not louder, it's truer. It's mornings without anxiety. It's doing work that drains your body, but feeds your soul. It's being proud of yourself even when no one's watching. You stopped living for trophies. You started living for meaning. No more chasing recognition from people who don't know your heart. No more building castles in kingdoms you don't believe in. Now, every step you take feels like home. Because this time, it's yours. You used to think success was the destination. Now you know it's the alignment, not with status, not with applause, but with truth, with your voice, with your peace. You no longer measure your worth by the pace of your hustle. You measure it by the depth of your presence. You stopped asking, "Am I doing enough?" and started asking, "Is this true to me?" Because real success doesn't demand you to be more. It invites you to be whole. You don't need to prove anything anymore. Not your drive, not your worth, not your ambition. You've already done that. And it almost cost you yourself. Now, success isn't something you chase. It's something you define. And if it doesn't bring peace, if it doesn't feel like freedom, if it doesn't sound like your voice, you walk away because you finally understand. Success that empties you was never success. It was a distraction, a costume, a cage with golden bars. And now you choose something else. A life that fits your soul, not their story.